Hey, what's going on, everybody? Dave back again, and today we're going to be going over the chest, arms, and head for this video. At least I think that's what the plan is. I've just been, if you guys haven't noticed, taking some time for myself, taking my time on this guy. It does not show quality, so you will end up seeing some stress marks and shouldn't see too many nub things, but you'll see clip marks and things. Sorry, it's about 2 a.m. right now. But I wanted to get this out for the guys at New Type Builds, and then that way I could get it in the mail, and hopefully they'll get it by this weekend. But I'm really happy. Like I said, I've done this kit a few times, and no matter how many times I've done it, it's still a cool build. You know, I would say my two favorite kits as far as build wise in perfect grade have to be this one, number one, and the Strike is number two. And this one is based off of the Strike frame pretty much, so you can see why there's the preference on there. Now, one of the things I've never done is I've never tried to put the ale pack, the perfect grade ale pack, on here, though because it's got the Strike frame, I don't see why it wouldn't. It's got the plug back here. I'll show you the backpack while we're on here. Let me zoom you guys in a little bit. So I have done a wash on everything, and that's part of what has taken me time, is doing the wash and then doing cleanup, things like that. If it was just a straight up build, you know, just straight out of the box and just clipping and snapping as a preliminary, easily 6 hours, something like that, 6 to 8 hours. But because I've been clipping, I've been doing sanding on nubs, and then also doing panel lining on it, which someone in my last video asked me what I've been using for panel lining. I've been using this stuff, guys. I did a video on it before, and I'll do a touch-up video actually on this later on, because I have some information for you guys. But so that's what I've been using on this, and it works perfectly. But yeah, so as I'm doing pieces or doing sections, I'm actually panel lining them and letting them dry, and then doing the cleanup around there before I end up filming for you guys. So on the backpack here, it does have the gimmick for this to come down, and I've never been exactly sure why this does that. It doesn't really make any sense. It doesn't do anything, doesn't go anywhere. But you do have the port in here, just like you would on the Strike for the ale pack to go in, so I don't see why it wouldn't. I don't have one, so I can't test it. And then this is removable if you want to, but it just folds up, goes into there. You've got these here for the beam sabers to plug into. Shoulders, if I can get to do it, you do get up and down, and you can see there's pistons up in there. You get up and down movement in there, forward and back. The only thing you have to watch for is, depending on how much pressure you put, you will end up popping these pieces off, but it's better for them to pop off than be overstressed and break them. Same thing on this other side. Most of your mobility, though, is going to be in the shoulders, but it is nice that you get some mobility in there. Lots of inner frame detail up in here. This pivots, and if I can get to do it, I always have trouble with this guy. Never wants to. Come on. Come on. There. So that slides out. The cockpit slides open only this far. You can see the pilot that's up in there. if you ever want to remove them or anything, you're going to need some tweezers. It is kind of a nice gimmick that you can see the panel slides open there. Then they'll fold back up. You do get some range of motion in here, but unfortunately these kind of hinder it. If you were to modify those a little bit, you could, and if you slide it down a little bit, you can get even more range of motion. You can get some forward, back, side to side out of it. Let's see, what should we move on to, guys? Let's do the head, because everybody likes a little head. No pun intended. Alright. So I did do a wash up in here. You got the clear sections in here. I did light gray on there. Now my one disappointment, and it's not that hard, guys, you could actually snip out a couple pieces and get the light to filter up into here and here from the battery, which is right back here. I should pop this off. I can't. You can't with that on there. I always forget, because this can be finicky, so pre-warning on that. So your battery pack is back here. Unlike a master grade or the newer ones where you just have the battery pack that you twist something, this is an actual put it together. You have a couple springs in there, but you just flick it on, and yes, the V-fin will come off very easily. It's just pushed in, but you can see the light in there. There's one single LED, kind of shows up okay like that. I've seen some great mods for lighting on here, and I've done a couple. So yeah, that's just on and off. You want to line it up and slide it back in. You're good to go. You got two vents on the back here. You got your underside. So I do like the head on this. Alright, moving on. Here, let's grab some shoulders. Alright, for the shoulders here, you've got the back side. You can see all the details that are up in there. Painted, this thing looks phenomenal. You can see all the details up in there. I give it all washes. Same thing up over in here. And you've got that. Arms. You get good motion with the shoulder joint. These are nice and tight, so you're not going to end up with any floppiness. You do get pieces that will kind of shift around to accommodate movement. So this is what it looks like, just like that. And you can see there's a shift in armor pieces at here and here. And I don't want to, but you can fold it up so you can see all the shifting of the armor up in here. So there shouldn't be any problem getting any pose that you want. And there is a little play with the way that everything is for shifting. You get a little twist there, not a whole lot. When you're straightening back out the arm, watch this piece, pop it out if you're going for a straight up. The hands, you got your you know, perfect grade hands. Never been a big fan of the candy cane hands, but it is what it is. I've also never been a big fan of the material that they make this part out of, because it is a pain in the rear to clean and denub. You can still see some marks there on there, and I haven't filed those down yet. It's just very time consuming to sit there with a file and do each one of those. You have the little bar that's in here for attaching beam sabers, the sword, and the beam rifle. So you do get forward, back. You can position this in and out as you need. This piece, if I remember correctly, it does shift a little bit. You get full 360. You get that. You can, I mean, you can get some good poses out of here. Fingers are, actually haven't busted the fingers. I shouldn't say busted, that's a bad word, but you know, like that. Articulated, not busted. You do get this plate that's up on here does shift, so it can kind of conform around. Now the one thing you want to be careful of, and this is why I almost wish they did these like the older school where you snap the fingers together, is because, well, you pretty much almost have to do that anyway. If you move these too much, they will pop out of the socket. And so, I mean, they just pop right back in, but still, if they're going to do that, they might as well leave them as individual pieces so you can clean them, make them in the styrene, or at least this type of the styrene or poly material, and not this white stuff, because it's just really soft and squishy. Other arm, same thing, no difference. And you know, I'm only at 11 minutes and 37 seconds, so might as well just knock out everything, right? Okay, so you get the pilot. The only things I haven't put together, sorry guys, and that's because I forgot about them, I haven't put the beam sabers together. If you've seen one set of beam sabers, you've seen another. Beam rifle, nothing really special, just like the strike beam rifle. And I'm not sure, if I remember correctly, this has a spot on the back of the waist. You can flip this down and plug it into the back of the waist. You've got the grenade thing that'll slide out. I haven't panel lined this or anything at all, so that's where that zone stands. Shield, exactly like the strike shield. You've got that folds down to open up the window. There is a clear piece that's in here. You have the attachment point for the arm. You can rotate that full 360. You have for the hand, you know, the handle, that'll slide up and down and kind of lock into place. I haven't done any lining. Well, I've done a couple pieces, but there's just so much on the back of here. There's the shield. Most people I know that have the kit, they don't display it with the rifle or the shield. They display it with with this. Alright, so depending on whether you've got the double set or the single set, each blade will come with this really soft, squishy material, which will go over, so you don't stab yourself with the tip. It's not really that sharp, but they do it for safety's sake. This is coated. The downside is you have spots, I'm sure you guys can see it, just like that, where there were the basically nubs. Now you've got one down here and one here. All the rest are hidden back up in here, so that's good. The gold, I do love, you know, a lot of people complain about it. I do love the gold that they used for this. I did do a wash over it just to bring out some of the details, but the bad part is, if you can see right there, and I think right there, and right there, and right there, right there, you know, you have gold missing because, well, that's where you clipped it from the runner. So as much as I love the gold, you know, it kind of sucks. You have that waviness in the blade there that you can see. Next up, you get the scabbard for it. I have panel lined this. You get the gold that's down here. Now you can have him, I like the look of having him holding this in one hand and the blade in the other, unless you have the double sword, and then one in each hand. But I mean, this is great detail all the way around. You've got the handle, you've even got the pin that holds the handle in. Even on the inside of here, it's got detail, which I'm sure you've seen in other videos. And I would have swore I did a review on this when this came out, but I cannot remember. And then you have this piece. It attaches to his hip, and it is for, if I can remember correctly, how it goes on, just off of memory. Getting old, so memory isn't the greatest. Or at least that's what I'm being told. There. Get in the hole. There. So this will lock in, and it will attach to that hip joint that folds open. And then I believe this is for, let's take it off. Hopefully I don't stab myself and bleed all over the place. So that'll slide in. You do want to be cautious sliding this in and out because it will scrape up the metal finish. That kicks down to hold in the blade. So a great feature with that. I always forgot about that. In fact, I think one of my builds I accidentally forgot and left that out. Okay guys, so that is it. I managed to keep it under 20 minutes. I will do a recap with everything all together, give you guys some shots and my final thoughts on it, and then get this bad boy all boxed up and sent out. Thank you again for New Type Builds for asking me to do this for them, or for you, I should say, them. And thanks guys for tuning in and putting up with my stupid video. I will talk to you guys all later. Have a good night. Peace out.